Shakur Stevenson, to me, is a little bit of an enigma. This is an undefeated two-weight American world champion, a guy in many people's pound-for-pound top 10, and yet no one seems to be talking about him, despite some top performances in the ring.
One-two, backs it up with a southpaw right hook as well.
You see Simeon, who got blasted by Stevenson again as he crumbles to the canvas, trying to hold himself up.
You see the potential, you see the ability he has. It's there in spades. And also, he wins every second of every round.
Yes, he has.
See, this is the fight that I knew that Shakur Stevenson had in him. I know he can stand his ground. I know he can fight well in the inside. And he's showing us a different dimension of his skill set. He can do it all. And we saw the complete package of Shakur Stevenson tonight.
And new WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Shakur Stevenson!
I do think I have an answer to why Stevenson has gone so far under the radar, but in order to do so, I'm going to have to start with a question. Say you're on the streets one day, just walking down the road as you do, and you see two fights ahead of you. On the one side, you see two drunks throwing haymakers, and on the other side, you see one guy just lighting the other guy up. So, the question I have to you is, which fight do you watch? To me, the answer is absolutely obvious. You watch the two drunks beating the crap out of each other because that is the better fight to watch. You have drama, you have unpredictability, and you have excitement. And that is what you didn't have with the other fight. You knew the good guy was going to win his fight because he was clearly so much better than the other guy. So why would you sit down and watch it when you knew what the outcome was going to be? And to me, that is the problem with Shakur Stevenson. He has been so good in his career so far that his fights are just a little bit predictable, because you know from about round 3 onwards what's going to happen. I mean, to be real, he's won all his fights pretty easy, even at world level.
Valdez looking a tad bit frustrated here as he's kind of walking forward with that high guard, but really unable to land too many. You never know what that could do. And Valdez coming to now. Valdez goes down. Looks like they're counting it a knockdown here.
Punch. It was a punch. Or bounce not. It was a punch.
If this all sounds a little bit weird that I'm criticising a guy for being just too good, you're absolutely damn right. Because despite the fights not being the most entertaining, the guy has some absolutely unbelievable skill on him. And most of that comes down to the feet. Feet and defense that make him nigh on impossible to hit clean.
Right away, look at the feet of Stevenson. Taking 2 steps back, got out of range right there, weaved underneath that hook.
And Stevenson has made him look less than ordinary.
He's schooled him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And so you don't like to rush anyone into a title fight, and get up to that level straight away. But I think he's ready. He's been telling us all he's ready. I think he might be ready.
The overall style on Shakur is relatively simple. He comes out tall in a southpaw stance and uses his lead hand to block the jabbing lane of the opponent. At this point, you've got a little bit of a standoff with both guys just staring at each other with their backhand loaded. This is the classic southpaw v orthodox position. However, when the opponent chooses to press the action and gets off the centre line, that is Shakur's cue to step backwards to maintain that middle distance range. And this is where the key bit comes in. Whereas so many other fighters will disengage completely at this point and step way backwards because it feels nice and safe, Shakur will only step back slightly, keeping his feet well set for the counter, which very often comes.
More than anything to be in this fight tonight, Jamel, but you're here sitting with me, and that is because that fighter...
Lands with the left hand back time. Stevenson looked to try and follow it up.
This is why Shakur is so good, because he doesn't just make fighters miss, he makes them pay as well. And the credit to this has to go to his grandfather.
You know, he always wanted to be a kid, so I never tried to take that away from him. What I tried to do with Shakur, as I was into athletics and whatnot, I took him with me all the time. When we weren't in the gym and boxing, he was with me on the baseball field. And he grew up watching that, you know.
I just started falling in love with the sport. You see a lot of fathers and sons, they'll have a bad relationship because of boxing, where like they was too tight on their sons and they'll make them not want to box.
And it was clear from early that Shakur didn't just have the talent for boxing, but he had the drive too. From going through so many Shakur clips for this video, there is such a clear standout in terms of a drive for Shakur, and that is to avoid losing at all costs. The guy never wants to lose at anything, boxing or otherwise, and he kind of reminds me of that clip of Billy Beane in Moneyball.
On base, we win. You don't, we lose. And I hate losing, Choppy. I hate it. I hate losing more than I even want to win.
I understand that I really don't like to lose. I think that's what motivates me the most when I'm training, when I'm fighting.
His competitive nature is very, very strong. He just doesn't want to lose, so he's in here working hard. He'll wake me up sometimes in the middle of the night. What you doing? I'm going to the gym. Come on.
I think I use it as like motivation. Like I don't like get bitter or like in my brain is okay, you lost. You don't want to never feel that feeling again. Like that feeling to me is like something like too bad that I don't want to feel that ever again. So now I've been working super hard to make sure I don't never lose ever again because I don't like it.
And so to keep these kind of clips in your mind, it really isn't that surprising how Shakur reacted in the Olympics when he won that silver medal.
You walk away with a silver medal, which is an incredible accomplishment. Can you take any pride in that?
No, I don't like to lose. Second.
In terms of that Olympic final, it really was a bit of a toss-up fight. You could see that Shakur had the more talent of the two guys in there, but you could also see Shakur just getting a little bit outworked in spots.
I think it might be fair to say to this stage in the second round, Ramirez has controlled the tempo very, very well.
Stevenson's not quite found his range yet.
It's also worth saying that for people who don't know, Shakur's opponent, the guy who actually won the gold medal, was Robeisy Ramirez, who had the misfortune of going through this on his debut.
And this is being scored a knockdown.
He got smacked. He didn't get hurt.
Can you believe that? You never know what's going to happen in the pro ranks. And now a body shot and an uppercut landed from Gonzalez.
Pulling straight back again with his hands down.
And he got caught. And he tells Gonzalez, come on, let's go. And you know what? Gonzalez wants that. Doesn't mind it at all. You tell me where this thing's headed. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the answer.
The winner in a major upset from Denver, Colorado,
So, for anyone who says that going from the Olympics to the pros is a cakewalk, boxing really can throw up thrills and spills like few others. But anyway, back to Stevenson. Post-Olympics, Shakur took to the pro game like a duck to water. I don't often give myself a pat on the back, but despite not seeing loads of Shakur previously, I always thought he was going places from all the stuff I did see. Even in his debut, you can see that the guy is just so well-rounded in his skill set. As I've kind of already said, what sets Shakur apart is his judgment of distance. The ability to stay in that middle distance, to slide out of and back into range with the counters. But what often does go unnoticed by a lot of people is the body shots he lands. Fights with Shakur tend to go through two stages. The first is the opponent coming out like a whirlwind, and Shakur then getting them under control with both quick counters with the footwork, but also a stabbing left straight to the body.
Stevenson now sitting still, looking for a counterpunch. He has Rosales exactly where he wants, lunging in.
Great looking combination. And now Tokakan Clary trying to get to that belt line himself as Stevenson continues to work behind the jab. Doubles up that southpaw jab and goes to the body with the left yet again.
Once Shakur has the opponent thinking twice about just steamrolling in, he then starts to press the action a bit more on the front foot and mix up the offense. He does this with some left hooks round the guard, more straight lefts to the body, and, as I've already said, a very underrated body attack.
Well, hands free, hands free.
A hopelessness with Caraballo. He knew he would be outclassed, outskilled, and he goes down here in round number 6, halfway through round 6. And he's reeling in pain on the canvas.
Shakur, to me, is kind of like a mix of a Broner and a Spence. But even then, he has a very tough style to pin down. And oddly enough, he shares that characteristic with two other famous boxers, both of which play a pretty big part in Shakur's life. The first of these is the obvious one, Terence Crawford.
Shaking his head is not how we want to end this fight, though. Oh! Crawford gets him! My, oh my! What a shot!
Lunging with the right hand, he gets out of the way, and all of a sudden Porter goes face first into the neutral corner.
Olay, Terence, Olay.
Crawford two different ways, punching between them.
Another knockdown scored with a vicious body shot!
I honestly think having Terence around is just such a perfect match for Shakur, because I honestly can't think of a better boxer than Bud to bring in if you want to get to grips with a load of different styles. And secondly, just having that disciplined role model around keeps Shakur anchored in ways that maybe some other talented boxers didn't have.
Is he a good influence as well? Because when we were talking to Wayne yesterday, he says he takes no shortcuts, never drinks a bottle of Coke or something. He just goes water, healthy food, and keeps it real all the time. That's a good example for you to follow, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I get to see how he live outside the ring, and that's like a major. It helped me out also because I want to live the same way. Like I see how he don't party. He's not out drinking and doing all that extra stuff at clubs. As soon as he's out of the gym, it's like he probably playing basketball or something. Like he's doing stuff that's fun to him. So I guess seeing that, it's like it motivates me to be like, okay, we're gonna leave that other stuff alone because that's not what greatness is. I want to be great, so.
The second guy in Shakur's life is Andre Ward. Shakur is not your typical American Floyd wannabe. Shakur could have actually signed with Mayweather Promotions back in the day, but instead chose to go with Top Rank. So it's Ward who had the biggest impression on Shakur, being both his manager for over 3 years, as well as being one of his favourite fighters, period.
I think it was a lot of fighters at the end of the day that I kind of looked at and wanted to emulate their styles and put stuff that they was doing in their game and put it in my game. Mainly it was Andre Ward. Andre Ward wasn't the prettiest, but he always knew how to win. Like, I seen something Floyd said that I'm not the fastest, I'm not the strongest, but I'm the smartest. And that kind of fit me too.
And to top this all off, Shakur seems to be a pretty damn nice kid. He's the oldest of 9 siblings, and he's the kind of guy who seems to want to provide for all of them, to do good stuff in the community, and also having a smile that makes me think that he's 10 years younger than he actually is.
As a kid, I used to always tell myself, like, I'm doing this for all my little brothers and sisters and my mother. And I put that weight all on my shoulders, and I carried it all the way to this day. It don't matter where you're from. It don't matter the odds. If the odds against you, either way, you could make it happen as long as you grind and stay disciplined. That's the reason why I know I can't fail. Like, I refuse to let myself to fail.
So what we have here is a clean-cut, well-spoken, ferociously talented American boxer in a similar-ish weight class to guys like Tank, Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko. So, to go back to the point, why isn't he more popular? Well, that is a difficult one to answer, and I do think that most of it is that his fights just aren't really that entertaining to watch, simply because he is so good. But I do also think that he is just really quite boring to listen to.
Now, how do you see this fight playing out? And if you win in dramatic fashion, where you looking to go from there? I know you don't like to look past your upcoming opponent, but
yeah, right now I'm focused on Chris Diaz. I don't know how the fight gonna turn out. I just know I'm gonna win. So either way, I'm gonna go in there, do what I gotta do, and I'm gonna get the victory. So not looking for a knockout. If it come, it come.
I don't want to come across as too harsh here, because Stevenson himself does seem to be nice enough. And maybe after watching so much footage for my Broner video, I was almost a little bit spoiled when it comes to entertainment. But with Shakur, I honestly can't remember any time when he made me laugh or even really surprised me in an interview. It's all just kind of boring textbook media answers. It actually kind of reminded me of a skit done on football interviews a while back.
Shakur, the most important question I've got for you is how were you able to neutralize a man who just fought for a world title 2 fights ago?
All I'm going to say is Christopher Diaz is a great fighter. I take nothing away from him. He's a great fighter. My game plan was to come in here and box. I came here to get the victory, and that's what I've done.
Jason, how did you see today's game?
Well, it started off, then carried on. Quick break in the middle, then it was over.
I'm not saying that fighters need to say stupid shite to get themselves in headlines, but I do think that the combination of his fights being quite one-paced, if one-sided, and his interviews being just quite boring to listen to, does contribute to Shakur being not quite the star that he aspires to be. The obvious counter to this is, why doesn't he fight better people? And, well, to be honest, he kind of already has. Shakur has made light work at the whole Super Featherweight division, and to his credit, called out Josh Warrington loads of times back down at feather.
Now, we are a UK channel, so I want to talk about some UK featherweights.
Josh Warrington?
Josh Warrington.
Would you come to the UK for that? Because I don't think Josh would come to here to fight you. So, yeah, would you travel to the UK for Josh Warrington?
Yeah, I definitely would fight. I would want to fight Josh Warrington in the UK. He's the champion, and out of respect for the champion, I'll come to his hometown and whoop him.
You'd whip him?
Yeah, I'll whoop him.
And it's worth saying that he called out Valdez for years before he actually got that fight. This clearly isn't a guy who's just all talk.
Whose belt do you feel ready to take right now at 126?
I want the IBF and the WBO. Josh Warrington got the IBF. Oscar Valdez got the WBO. I'm number 1 in the WBO, and I'm number 3 in the IBF. So I think it's that time.
To me, this is just a bit of an unfortunate situation where you have a guy who is just so clearly better than anyone else in their division. It's almost unfair. And it's only going to be up at lightweight against the Lomachenkos or the Tanks of the world that we're going to see Shakur pushed, and hopefully in some great fights. But if you do want my opinion, he is already the best in that new crop of lightweights. I just wish his fights were better to watch, one after the other. Even the commentary team sometimes calls out how uncompetitive these fights can be.
This is just... It's masterful.
Just seems just unfair.
Every way he wants to do it, he can do it, including that back power hand.
Watching a Shakur fight is kind of like watching an art house film. Watching 1 is cool, watching 2 is a bit of a trek, but any more than that, you start to crave some explosions, some schlock, some back and forth action. And Shakur is clearly aware of this too.
We don't know if Jamel going there and have to make me face that kind of adversity. That's all up to Jamel. But at the end of the day, ain't Jamel and me. But at the end of the day, I'm going in there to do what I've been doing. I'm going in there being the same Shakur I've been throughout my whole career. Being dominant and winning fights easy. People don't like. People don't like it. They want competitive fights. Right. They want fights where you going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They don't like a one-sided fight. People hate that. People want to see, bro, go back and forth. I hit you, you hit me, but my fight's not gonna be like that. I don't care what they tell me. Like, they can say whatever they want. My fight's not gonna be like that.
And the one other thing that I'll mention is that despite Shakur having a reputation for being this goody two-shoes family man, that is not entirely the case. Back in June 2018, Shakur was in an altercation with a group of people, including 2 women, after celebrating his 21st birthday. What reportedly happened is Shakur tried his luck with one of the women, and when he got rejected, he then started an altercation with the guy in the group, which then led to this happening. I know everyone makes mistakes, but I think it's the combination of Shakur starting the incident, Shakur himself being labelled as such a good boy, and most importantly, Shakur and his mate just continually beating on this guy when there was clearly no danger there, that makes me really dislike Shakur here. Luckily for him, he did end up getting off the battery charges after making a deal in court. And as I've said, I know everyone makes mistakes. I've made plenty myself. But I think Shakur really needs to keep on the straight and narrow in order to become the superstar that he truly wants to be.
How would you like to end your career, man? Like, what would be the cherry on top for you, man, if you could?
I want to be a pay-per-view superstar. I want to be several division world champ. I want to be undisputed a few times in several different weight classes. But I just want to be like a big superstar. Like, I want the whole world to know, like how Mike Tyson is like a legend. Like, I want to be a legend, like the world to know that I'm a legend.
And with having that guiding figure in his grandfather, I do think Shakur can go all the way in boxing and become one of the modern greats. I really do believe that. But on a final note, what I do hope also is that he's not so good that we can't get some good fights along the way as well.
There you go, man. There you go. Be rocking back and forth. Be nervous. Don't say that, Mel. Hey, be rocking back and forth. Be nervous, Mel. Hey, go back. I'm used to this. Hey, he rocking back and forth. Hey, he nervous. He